Here are my thoughts on the Mewoofun cage, which is 100 by 50 centimeters. They sent me this cage to review. This isn't paid or sponsored, they just sent me for my honest opinion on the cage. So once it was in stock, it didn't take long to ship, and the cage arrived a few days earlier than expected, which was really nice. The packaging was really good as well. Everything was secure. Nothing was damaged. There was just some minor damage on the box itself, but everything inside it was fine. Next, the quality was really good as well, especially for the price. I believe it's a better option for people like me who are in the UK than a Night Angel enclosure, which is definitely more pricey. The acrylic was thicker than panels on the Paw Hut cage, which I also have, which meant it didn't rattle, as well as the packaging being a lot better and the quality of the acrylic being better, so there weren't any scratches like there were on my Paw Hut cage personally that I found. So it was great to know that there was no scratches in it. It was very clean and clear acrylic. Although one of the side panels, there's little breathing holes, it did have some rough areas which I had to sand away, which I found a little bit annoying, but it wasn't anything serious and it easily was fixed, so that was fine. It had plenty of ventilation, as hamsters don't need as much ventilation as, say, like rats who couldn't be in this kind of enclosure. And I did like the cute design on the lid. I think that was done really well. Although the gaps within the lid design could be big enough for a Roborowski dwarf hamster to squeeze out of and escape, so I would not house one of them in this enclosure. The assembly was really quick and easy. It took about 20 minutes. You can do it with just one person. However, I had my brother to help hold certain parts. It feels really secure, and just using like a slot mechanism with rubber bands. I was a little bit worried about those because I have heard of those kind of style enclosures that the rubber bands snap easily or it just isn't as secure, but I found with this it was just fine. I haven't had any worries or concerns over the past week or so of having Rufus, my dwarf hamster, in the enclosure. And it did have a few spare bands provided, which was helpful in case of any snapping during the building process. However, there weren't many, so that was something that was a little bit like a con for me. As I mentioned previously, this is the 100 by 50 centimeter enclosure, which comes out to be about 775 square inches, which is the UK bare minimum. I would only recommend this for Russian or winter white dwarfs, since Syrians usually aren't happy unless they're in an enclosure that's 1,000 square inches or above, preferably. As well as it being a little bit awkward to fit in Syrian-sized items. Its height measured about 53 centimeters, which is roughly 21 inches tall, and I personally was able to fit 11 to 11.5 inches of bedding, with room before reaching the side air holes. This was important to me because I was a little bit worried personally about it being a chew target for housing a hamster in it, but I haven't seen any damage happen yet because you can't reach the holes because of the height. The pros would be that it's a lovely aquarium look. It's quite a sleek modern design, which I believe would go with many house or interior aesthetics. Like I mentioned before, there was great height for bedding depth, which is really essential for hamsters since they are burrowing animals. It's a good option for those who have limited space but still want a proper sized enclosure, and the clear, easy visibility of your pet is really good, provided by the front and two side acrylic panels, as well as it being quick and easy to assemble. The cons, however, would be that they don't sell currently, as I've seen, any replacement parts, such as the bands, which I feel would wear out after some time if they don't already snap during the process of assembly. I just feel like maybe they should look into possibly having some spare items or have an option on the cage listing to order replacement items, as well as it not being suitable for most Syrians, and I wouldn't recommend it for Syrians personally, because like I mentioned before, usually they aren't happy unless they are provided a 1000 plus square inch cage. And unfortunately for those of us living in the UK, and I think in Europe as well, we can't purchase the 900 and something square inch enclosure that Mewoofun has, because it's not available. It's only available in the US. But overall, I would definitely recommend this to those who want to upgrade their current dwarf hamsters enclosure, or if someone's looking into getting a Russian or winter white dwarf, and they are a bit short of space, so they can't have a paw hut or an IKEA Pax or something like that, that this is really good. Or even to convince your parents, if you are going to get a hamster or if you need to upgrade. I feel like this design is very good for that, because it doesn't overwhelm those who may not understand why hamsters need such large enclosures. Personally, my parents really liked the look of this enclosure and they were very happy with it too, so I think that's a good selling point on this. That's all for this review video. I hope you enjoyed. I will link the cage in the description if you're interested in buying one. Bye!